What's up, Giants fans? Welcome back to another episode of Bet the Over. I'm your host, Kev Bo, and in this episode, we're going to be breaking down one of the most underrated signings of all of free agency, not just for the Giants. This player was a key contributor on offense. He showed up every day with a positive attitude, and he really helped this team. Although they didn't necessarily play very well during the season, granted, they only had 4 wins. He was one of the key players to this team. And if you haven't figured out who I was talking about, I'm talking about Jermaine Eluemunor, right tackle, New York Giants. This offseason, Jermaine Eluemunor signed a pretty nice contract, 3 year, $39 million, which is an extension with the Giants in March 2026, keeping him with the team through 2028, giving him precisely $13 million per year. The reason I think this is a really good signing is because Jermaine Eluemunor, like I said, has been a solid contributor to the team ever since they signed him last year. He never really gets too much attention in the media. He kind of shows up, puts his head down, and gets to work. That's one of the main reasons I think the Giants did re-sign him. I think Harbaugh respects his work ethic and also just the way he approaches the game. He shows up on a daily basis and gets the job done. One of the reasons I think this was one of the best signings of the offseason is because the right tackle position is a premier position, as we all know. The great right or left tackles in the league can be making upwards of $20 million nowadays, 20, 25. I don't know who the highest is. I think it's Tristan Wirfs maybe, or Pernay Sewell, someone along those lines. Now, I don't think Jermaine Eluemunor is on that level. However, he's a solid player, and the higher end right tackles in this league typically earn upwards of $17 million. So getting Jermaine Eluemunor, who is maybe not a higher end, but a great starter for $13 million, saving about $5 million or $4 million as opposed to someone else. Another reason why I think this signing was very good is because earlier in the offseason, before he signed this contract, there is speculations that his market would be around $20 million per year. So, like I said before, there you save $7 million from what he was speculated to get. Now, I don't think he was ever actually going to get that because he's not the best right tackle in the league. He's not young in a sense. He's 31 years old. So offensive linemen are typically good up until like 33, 34. So he's got 3 more years, like what the Giants signed him to. But getting him for 13, there wasn't really a bidding war for him. And I don't know if this had any influence over this, but he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens back in 2015, I think. Someone can double check me on that, by John Harbaugh. So maybe there was some chemistry there that helped him stay. It seemed like he kind of wanted to stay because he did take the pay cut. Maybe he was just tired because he moved from Vegas to New York last offseason, and maybe he didn't want to move again. So it was a key, or was it 2 years ago? But anyway, he didn't want to move again, and they got a great deal for a solid right tackle who posted a 76.7 pass blocking score according to PFF, ranking him 20th out of 89 tackles in the league. His pass blocking is definitely his strength. His run blocking does need some work. He needs to work on creating lanes for either the running back or the elusive quarterback in Jackson Dart, but his pass blocking score is pretty high. I mean, he's in the top fourth of the league in that area. And that's kind of important for a young rookie quarterback to have a secure or two secure bookend tackles because Jackson Dart does kind of get a little antsy in the pocket when it starts to collapse. He wants to run because his legs are such a big asset to him. However, if you keep the pocket clean and he can really dissect the defense, I think that's when Jackson Dart's at his best. He should be a throw first, not a run first type of quarterback. Look at Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh. Every video ties into that, but he really developed as a passer, and that's something you definitely want Jackson Dart to do as well because if they're a pass first and then a run first quarterback, it just opens up so much more lanes. Whereas if they're a run first quarterback, you take away their first read and they're probably going to put their head down and run the ball, and you can game plan against that accordingly. So overall, this signing was amazing because you have Andrew Thomas, one of the best left tackles in the league. He gets paid the big bucks, a lot more or a decent amount more than Eluemunor. But when you have two solid bookend tackles like this, you can work kind of from the outside in. The Giants do need to address their interior offensive line, whether it's center, right guard, or left guard. They kind of are still figuring that out as we move along in this offseason. I'm expecting them to take one of those positions in the draft coming up. But having those two tackles at premier positions on pretty good value deals is definitely something that can help build the team around them. So they save money on Eluemunor. Maybe they can go out and sign a good right guard next year, this year, or sign a good wide receiver this year, next year, whatever, with the money they've saved on Jermaine. Overall, I do think this is very important for Jackson Dart's development. As I stated previously, we need him to move along or and develop as a passer because the sky is truly the limit for Dart. He is one of the biggest reasons why the Giants are considered to be a dark horse team going into this year. They have their quarterback, they have a new head coach who hopefully will turn the team around and kind of change the culture in the locker room. It's been a very miserable 10 years being a Giants fan, and hopefully it starts with the right tackle and the quarterback, and we can move forward, address other areas that need to be addressed in the draft and along in free agency. And these are the main reasons why I think re-signing Jermaine Eluemunor was one of the best moves the Giants made this offseason and one of the best moves in all of the offseason because you got a great player who loves the game, comes to work every day with a great attitude for a great value. And I think moving forward, he will definitely continue to have an impact on this team's offense. And hopefully, him, Dart, and John Harbaugh can really contribute to some more W's next season. Jameis Winston. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Comment down below what you think. And remember, like, comment, subscribe, and bet the over.